Greetings, Sam Shabbat from Nubian Recovery Advantage. We were briefly discussing cultural competency 101 and how assumption impacts service delivery. And one of the things that we was discussing is that how we live in a culture where that inequality is systemic, and inequality has been systemic throughout. And we have beginning to learn and see the systemic aspect of racism institutionalized, and so therefore it's in every sphere of service. You know, as we state, whether it's EMS a person who, or before even the EMS, the operator that you may be talking to, and discussing some of the issues, the crisis that at hand, the EMS worker that come pick you up. And then as they begin to evaluate you and assess your issues and concerns, and then as it relates to them escorting you to the emergency room, and then the workers at the emergency room, whether people of color or not, all the time are not, and even if they are, due to your culture, due to you being African or black in America, or etc., or one of the so-called African Americans in the communities of color, you may be still, going. You not maybe you will be still going through this soul spear of racism, the systemic aspect of racism, and then the doctors that interact with you, and then as well as whether you get to bed or not get to bed, and whether they place you in close, where they locate you, and then the nurses as they engage you. And then if you are hospitalized, and then the service as it continues, and then as relate to the medication that you get, as relate to, on and on and on. So all of the systemic institution. Now, if we look at the penal institution, we look at the education institution, each one of them, we're dealing with culture, and we're dealing with how they deal with, how they interact with, how they relate with people of color. In this instant, we're talking about African people, African American, who so happen to be in America, dealing with the systemic aspect of racism. Now, when people start talking about cultural competence, they want you to be culture conscious of them, not necessarily you conscious of your own particular culture. Culture is power. The more you're aware of your culture, the more power you will have, the more you will begin to interact and engage like-minded individuals, so that y'all can begin to collectively shift systems through the propagating of your own particular culture. This is one of the reasons why Nubian Advantage has been developed, so that we begin to collectively understand the condition of racism, the condition of racism, how its impact does, how continue to impact, and what we must do to transform, change some of these conditions. Systemic racism is not going anywhere. You can have 1 million groups on culture competent. People can mimic, shake their head and agree that they will not do A, B, and C. But ultimately, if the institution is not changed, the people in it will be just there. The institution must change, and if the institution does not change, systemic aspect of racism on any and every aspect of the institution will be really irrelevant, because the systems must be changed. Thank you very much. It's Sam Shabbat for the Nubian Recovery Advantage. Take care, be good. Peace be upon you.